right, joining us for this very special interview is Raghunandan from Zolve. Thank you very much, Raghunandan, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you about, Zolve as a company, considering that it is solving for a very important problem, which a lot of people are facing when they're going overseas. So tell us a little bit about how the journey's been over the pandemic. Of course, there wasn't much travel that happened over the last 1 year, but going forward, I think things are opening up and it seems like there is likely to be more demand. So what kind of green shoots are you seeing?
Hey, first of all, thank you, Priya. Thanks for having me on this platform. So the last 1 year was crazy. So there were no migrants and things like that. But it was a blessing in disguise. If not for COVID, probably we had to have a larger team in the US to crack all those partnerships over there. So because of the pandemic, so nobody's going to office in the US also. So because of which we could manage the whole thing based out of India. So we had a good control on the cost, and the whole team came together and worked together and stuff like that. So because of which we were able to meet the kind of timelines that we wanted to meet, right? And so what we did was, so we realized that the students are allowed to enter the US, not the working professionals. So we initially we wanted to target the working professionals, but since they were not traveling, we started focusing on the students, right? And that became a challenge for us because almost all the students travel during fall. So for us, the timeline for the launch was not defined by when we should go live, when those people are traveling, right? So we raised a round in Feb, and after that we set our sales, and usually it takes new banks to 1.5 years to go live, right? And we had 5 months. Right, and we didn't have a choice, and we didn't know when will the working professionals things open up, right? And if we miss this window of students, we don't know when we'll get the next window. So next window could be a year later, right? And we didn't want to lose that momentum, right? So we got all those partnerships in place. We pushed our partners to an extent where I think almost everybody, every one of our partners, their senior management knows about us. Right, and we were the fastest to go live. So it's been a great journey. Initially we had some challenges in figuring out how to attract customers for us, and once we got that initial 100 to 200 customers, right, so the thing went viral. So we wanted to do a product market fit for around 500 people. So we have around 50,000 signups.
Right. So you have 50,000 signups so far. What is the kind of trajectory that you're looking at going forward? And if you could give us some sense in terms of what kind of more products and features you'll be adding going forward.
Yeah. So Priya, so we wanted to do 500. So since we got 50,000, we didn't want to really cater to the entire 50,000 because I mean, scaling before product market fit is a great way to commit suicide. So we moved, but we didn't want to stick to 500. So we moved it to 2,000 people just to ensure that whether what we have really caters to the problem or is the perception there. So we got those 2,000 odd people. So phenomenal adoption. Almost everybody is using a product. Right, and we thought that students typically use it for groceries, Uber, Lyft, and things like that. But students go buy laptop, buy iPhone, pay insurance, pay tuition fee, pay rent, and things like that. The transaction size is like through the roof. And students, we thought that probably deposits wise, they would keep around $1,500 per month deposit, right? So we see people keeping $40,000, $35,000 deposits, right? We currently sit on around $2 million of deposits. Right, we never expected such kind of attraction. So we have started off that way, right? So one thing that we have solved for is, which doesn't exist in the market, is providing these bank accounts and credit card without the SSN. So because of which our customers can get access to all this before they even take their flight to the US. They get the bank account, the debit card, credit card, loans, insurances, everything before they take their flight, right? So because of which, so we start up as a primary bank account. Right, and usually most of us don't change the bank account unless they're not happy with the experience, right? I mean, if you look at yourself also, right, I don't know how long have you been banking with the same bank. It will be more than 10 years plus, right? So people don't usually change that. And if that's the case, and our customers also very much similar, unless we don't mess up the experience, the customers are permanently with us, right? But over a period of time, what we want to do is, so we want to be a full stack financial services provider since it's cross border. So apart from bank account, credit card, debit card, we want to help them with the remittances. Right, rewards and loyalty program, wealth management, help them with trading accounts, crypto trading, robo advisory, and if they have any income back in India, right? So where do they make those taxation, right? And if they help in opening up NRE, NRO accounts back in India, and most of these people have families back in India to support, right? How can they sitting there manage their families back in India, right? How can they use the same credit card to make transactions in India, right? So those are the things that we want to do that. So in net, right, we want to be a full stack financial services provider for our customers, and that's what we are looking at, right? And to begin with, we're looking at the India to US corridor, but over a period of time, looking at India, Canada, India, UK, India, Europe, India, Australia, right? And vice versa, also Canada to US, UK to US, right? X cross Y countries, and that's the vision that we have.
Right. But are you looking at raising some sort of funds right now, considering that you are expecting the number of users to also go up, and you are looking at aggressive partnerships as well going forward? So is there a need for funds to expand the team and for other purposes?
So we raised a round of $15 million this February, right? And given the traction that we have been witnessing, right? So we're getting a lot of incoming requests, right? Whether those incoming requests will translate into a funding round or not, that I'm not sure of. But if anything happens, translates into that, right? So you guys will be the first ones to know.
Right. I want to understand in terms of revenue targets, what kind of targets do you have at the end of FY22?
Oh, so interesting, right? So in terms of business model, it's a fairly straightforward business model, right? So we are acquiring these customers in India just before they migrate. So the costs are in Indian rupees, right? But the revenues come from a revenue share with our US banking partner. All right. Since we are taking the risk, the lion's share of the revenues asked. The costs in INR, revenues are in US dollars. So the model is unit level profitable from day one itself. All right, and given that all these migrants know each other, right? So there's significant amount of virality. Even the cost is also going to come down. So that's the thing. And as I mentioned to you earlier, right? Once we become a full stack services provider, the same CAC, but the revenue is extremely variable, extremely flexible, right? So what we are looking at it to get to a $1 million revenue run rate by end of this year, and by end of next year, $100 million revenue run rate. So that's the focus.
Wish you all the very best in your journey. Thanks so much for your time.